Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about photophysical process. In photochemical reactions, a reacting molecules absorb a radiation of certain wavelengths, and these radiations are bring some chemical changes in reacting molecules. But in sometimes these absorbed radiations are not able to cause a chemical change. Instead, they get re-emitted as light of longer wavelengths. So we can write, if the absorbed radiation is not used to cause a chemical change, it is re-emitted as light of longer wavelength. So this is called photophysical process. There are three such photophysical processes are there, that are, the first one is fluorescence, and second one phosphorescence, and third one is chemiluminescence. Let's start with fluorescence. But before going to start this photophysical process, we should have the knowledge of electronic transitions and spin multiplicity and singlet ground state, singlet and triplet excited states. Let's have a look on that. This is the electronic transition diagram. In this diagram, S0 is singlet ground state, whereas S1, S2, S3 are the excited singlet states, whereas T1, T2 and T3 are excited triplet states. First of all, we should know what are singlet and triplet states. Singlet state means here in excited state, electrons spins are just similar to the ground state spins. That means they have arranged anti-parallelly. But in case of triplet state, the excited electrons are no longer paired and they have electron spins which are arranged parallelly. We can clearly see that in ground state the electrons are paired, but when they are excited to higher energy levels they get unpaired. But in case of singlet state, these electrons are arranged in such a manner that their spins are as if just in ground state. That means the electrons are in excited state, even though unpaired, they have the spins that is anti-parallelly as they are arranged in ground state. But we can see in triplet excited state where the electrons are unpaired as well as they are parallelly arranged. That means they are opposite to the arrangement of these electron spins which are observed in ground state. Look at the electronic transitions. Initially, the electrons which are present in singlet ground state absorbed radiations and excited to the higher energy levels like S1, S2 and S3. But when these radiations are not useful for bringing the chemical change, they re-emits. And here we can see that the transitions are observed from S3 to S2 and S2 to S1 and S1 to S0. And the transitions which are observed in case of S3 to S2 are called allowed transitions. It is called internal conversion. Similarly, S2 to S1 and S1 to S0 is also called internal conversion. Whereas the transition from S1 to T1, that means sometimes the radiations which are present in excited singlet level are into excited triplet state. And the transition from S1 to T1 is called internal system crossing. And most of the time it is called forbidden transition. Cases it observed. But whenever the radiations enter into a triplet states from singlet states, they will get trapped there. That means the returning of these radiations from T1 to S0 is highly impossible. If transition occur also from T1 to S0, it will take a lot of time. That is, the radiations which are entered into triplet state are get trapped there only. Internal conversion results in fluorescence, that is, allowed transitions are responsible for fluorescence, whereas intersystem crossing is results phosphorescence, that is, delayed fluorescence we can say. We will move towards fluorescence. Fluorescence. When certain molecules or atoms exposed to light radiations of shorter wavelength and emit light of longer wavelength are called fluorescence. And the substance which exhibits fluorescence is called fluorescent. So some of the minerals like fluorite, petroleum products, and some organic dyes like eosine, fluorescein, and compounds like chlorophyll, riboflavin are known as fluorescents. Here we can see that whenever the radiations returns to the ground state, they have the longer wavelength. The reason is simple. When the radiations are absorbed by electrons are very energetic. When they higher energy excited states, and while returning to the ground state, they stay at different stages of electronic states, and here in every stage they lost their energy. That is, we can represent by internal conversion. During the internal conversion, the energy of radiations decreases here, and finally return to ground states having lesser energy. Normally we know that the energy and wavelengths are inversely proportional. Shorter the wavelengths, more the energy; longer the wavelengths, less energy. After returning ground state from excited energy levels, the radiations have the less energy. That's why they have longer wavelength. And the transition from S1 to S0 is called fluorescence. And this fluorescence will get stopped as soon as the incident radiation is cut off, because the fluorescence is instantaneous process. In these cases, the radiations or electrons are not get trapped in any internal or lower excited energy levels. So, as soon as the incident radiation is cut off, the fluorescence will get stopped. And this fluorescence is exhibited by solids, liquids, and gases. So, some of the examples are there, that is the solution of quinine sulfate, which is when exposed to the radiations, it will give the blue fluorescence, as well as chlorophyll when exposed to the radiations, it will also give blood red fluorescence. Now we'll see phosphorescence. Phosphorescence is another photophysical process. When a substance absorbs radiation of high frequency or else short wavelength we can use, and emits light even after the incident radiation cutoff. See here, in case of fluorescence, the re-emission of light stopped as soon as incident radiation cutoff. But here, the emission of light even takes place even after the radiation cutoff. Later we'll see the reason for that. And this phosphorescence is generally shown by solids, and the substances which shows phosphorescence is called phosphorescent or phosphorescence substances. And this phosphorescence is chiefly caused by UV and visible light. In diagram we can clearly see that initially the electrons which are present in ground state, after absorbing radiations they are excited to the higher energy levels. While returning to the electrons which are present in higher energy levels, they may suffer internal conversion or intersystem conversion. When they undergo internal conversion, they leads to the fluorescence. But when they undergo or suffers intersystem crossing, that means change in their excited singlet states to the excited triplet state, they lost their energy as well as they will get trapped in the triplet states, because the transition from triplet excited state to the ground singlet state is spin forbidden or forbidden transition. That's why the radiations or electrons are get trapped at the T1 excited level. So there is a time lag. That's why the phosphorescence is observed even after the incident radiation cutoff. The transition from S0 to T1 to S0 is results phosphorescence, and phosphorescence could be designated as delayed fluorescence. In case of fluorescence, the radiations or electrons which are present in excited energy levels are suffers internal conversion and they result the fluorescence. In case of phosphorescence, here the radiations suffer intersystem crossing. That's why the re-emission is delayed. So it is called phosphorescence. That's why phosphorescence is designated as delayed fluorescence. And whatever may be the radiations re-emitted have the lesser frequency than the incident radiations, or else we can say have the longer wavelength than the incident radiations. And normally this phosphorescence is observed in solids, and the example for the phosphorescence is sulfates of calcium, barium and strontium, and some fluorescein in boric acid will also show the phosphorescence. Chemiluminescence, one more photophysical process. In some chemical reactions, the emission of visible light will observed. So, the emission of light as a result of chemical action is known as chemiluminescence, and the reaction is called chemiluminescent reaction. And whatever may be the light emitted in chemiluminescent reaction is called cold light, because the emission of the light has taken place in ordinary temperature. In chemiluminescent reaction, the energy released during the reaction is makes the molecules excited to the higher energy levels, and these molecules are returned to the ground state by giving their excess energy in the form of visible light. And example for chemiluminescence is, the first one is the glow of fireflies due to the aerial oxidation of luciferin. That is, luciferin is a protein in presence of enzyme called luciferase. Next one is the oxidation of luminol by hydrogen peroxide in alkaline solution, and this one produce bright green light. Here the luminol is nothing but 5-amino phthalic cyclic hydrazide. So it is commonly pronounced as luminol.